Time for another coffee with Kilroy, or what I like to call beverage in a book. You know the beverage. This is the book. I've been talking about or making references to some of the series of videos that are covering war game books or game books. And I've made references to a series of books that, were kind of like choose your own adventure books, but a little bit deeper and have some decisions. And this is that series. The first one in this series was Armor Attacks. The next one was Infantry Combat. And the last one was Combat Team. They're all done by John Antal, I believe is how you pronounce it. I probably messed that up. But these, I think, fit into this whole series of games that I've been talking about, or these war game books. This is basically a war game in a book. It's more akin to a kind of a choose your own adventure format, but there is a lot more to it. There's a lot more context that is in these books. So I thought they'd be good to kind of cover along with this whole series of war game books that I've been talking about. And when I eventually get to kind of the end of coverage, I still have a few more. I have this series and a few more books I'd like to cover before I do a bigger exploration of the entire genre, or the current state, I guess, of the entire genre. So, have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you like to drink, and I'll do just a quick overview of this. Now, since it's a choose your own adventure type format, you really can't do much of a page through, because it is it'll spoil the decisions or spoil the paths that you're going to go down. But I can do some of the introductory work, because it really is trying to put you in the shoes, in this case, of a tank commander, so that there's a lot of background and training, and actually a pretty good read just from the outset, whether you want to get into the gameplay of it or not. Looking at the back here, John F. Antal is an armor officer in the United States Army. He is a 1977 graduate of the United States Military Academy and has served in tank units for the past 12 years. He has 4 years experience in the M1 Abrams tank. He is currently the executive officer of 1st Battalion, 63rd Armor at NTC, Fort Irwin, California. Now, this book came out in 91, so all that information is predating 91, so I don't know what this gentleman is doing these days. The back of the book says, "You are the hero of this unique interactive fiction. More specifically, you are the leader of a U.S. Army M1 Abrams tank platoon. Throughout the work, you will have the opportunity to make life or death decisions, and the story will develop according to the choices you make. As you progress through the book, you will learn important tactical and operational lessons. Whether you are a tank platoon leader or expect to be, or an armchair military enthusiast, you will find this book highly entertaining and instructive. There are 2 operations for you to conduct: an assault and a counter reconnaissance mission. In each, you must bring your knowledge and judgment to bear on the scenario in order to achieve the objective. If you choose wrong, defeat and even death may be your lot. If you succeed, you savor the taste of victory and live to fight another day. The scenarios are highly realistic, and there are maps and appendices and detailed specifications of each of the hardware involved to help you make informed decisions. Short of going through a course at the National Training Center at Fort Irwin, working through this book is probably the best thing you can do to sharpen your warfighting capabilities in a hurry, and you don't have to spend weeks in the field to do it." So, interesting. And this is I went through this a long time ago. Again, this came out in 91. I probably got it in the mid-2000s is when I probably picked this up. Armor Attacks, the Tank Platoon, an interactive exercise in small unit tactics and leadership, 91 copyright there. got your table of contents. There's a lot of appendix in here talking about like the weapon data, U.S. unit organization, threat unit organization, troop leading procedures, tank fighting positions, order format. So again, there's a lot of reference material throughout this book. So there is a game in here, but there's a lot of reference to give you context as you're going through that. There's some maps here. Looks like there's 11 maps. There's some diagrams as well. So you got a foreword in here, preface, the M1 Abrams tank, and as it says here, this is part of the preface. This is kind of giving you some of the context and some reference type information about the tanks themselves, the different roles of the inside the tank. So good stuff there. And here's the introduction, talking kind of setting the scene, and then you're into it. Here's section 1. This is you're into it. It is a narrative book. It is, again, akin to a choose your own adventure. You're going to be reading a story, then you're going to be forced to make decisions, and and it's going to be very combat oriented. I mean, here's your map symbols. So there's going to be maps. There's going to be understanding of your tank and its capabilities, understanding of the enemy, understanding of the unit, because you're commander of platoon, so understanding of like the unit organization. All that stuff's going to come to bear as you are going through this book and making decisions. So this first section is pretty big, kind of laying everything out, telling you some who the key people are that you're going to be interacting with, and then it comes to decisions. So you're going to have to decision. You go to section 2 if you make this decision. If you make this decision, you go to section 3, and then again, and then you're off, right? Then it's into the book proper. So I'll just do a quick, without a spoiler alert. I mean, that's a pretty thick book there, right? Let's get up to where the appendix start. Sorry. So that right there, that is the book itself. So that's all the different decisions you're going to make, and going down this, going down different paths based on those decisions. And there's charts and diagrams and some maps in here, but again, it's all going to be sending you to different sections, right? So it's all, again, based on what decisions you make. Here is appendix. This is like weapon data, quick reference to weapon ranges, Soviet battle tank here. So you've got a little diagram and specifications for each of these weapon systems. Here's some United States stuff. So again, there's quite a bit of reference material in here. Here's your unit organizations. And here's an Abrams Tank Platoon here. Threat unit organizations. Troop leading procedures here. So again, you go through this. I mean, this is like a crash course in platoon command or tank platoon command. Again, having not done that, I'm no person to speak to say how extensive or how accurate any of this is, but this guy's a trainer there, and so he's probably done his work, and this is probably a nice, when I say nice, it's a decent representation of, and it gives you a feel for battle and some of the decisions that need to be made by a platoon commander. I believe it does a good job of that, but I have nothing to measure that against. So here's your platoon operations order format for airland battle. So again, these are all reference stuff. Here's your glossary of certain terms, because there's going to be a lot of alphabet soup flying around there in the book when they're talking about certain things. And then you got your decision chart, because again, you're going to be making decisions here. So this is, they give you this so that if you wanted to mark on this or make a copy, you can kind of, so I started section 1, then I made the decision with either section 2 or 3, so I put down 2, and so you can kind of keep track of where you went. And so if you want to play it back and try a different path, you can, figure out what kind of decisions you made. So anyway, I thought this was interesting. I thought this was fits right into this whole series of war game books that I've been covering over the last several months. And this predates a lot of the current, the whole Worthington and Lambo, some of the more current ones that have come out here. This has been out there for, again, since the early 90s. And again, this is a little different format. This is not just a pure war game in a book. It is more of a choose your own adventure type format. But as you can see here, it's not just a simple, read and go to a page. I mean, you're making decisions based on the context of the situation and your understanding of some of the reference materials in here of what the tank's capabilities are, what the opposing tanks' capabilities are, what the unit organizations of your units versus the opponent or the enemy. So, you're going to get more out of this. The more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. It's not just a simple, I'll go to section 2. Oh, I'll go to section 5. Just making really snap decisions. If you really read up on some of the reference material and get a better understanding of that, which that in of itself is an interesting and worthwhile task if you're interested in this stuff. And if you're watching my channel, you might be interested in this stuff. So this is, you get out of this what you're going to put into it. So there's a lot of reference material. There's a lot of decisions that are kind of based on your understanding of some of those situations and either the capabilities or limitations of your units, your people, and your equipment. So anyway, I thought this was interesting. I'll go through that series in quick coffee with Kilroy's because I can't really go into the book itself, given that it will kind of spoil the outcome. And you might want to pick these up. I don't know if these are still available. I think they might be, but you might want to, I'll check on Amazon. That's always the place I usually go to see where some of these things are at. But you might want to go through this, so I don't want to spoil any of that. Plus, as you saw the thickness there's a lot of decisions to be had. There's a lot of paths to be chosen, and a lot of game in this, if you're using that term loosely. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hope you find this interesting. Hope you're enjoying your coffee or beverage of choice. And that's what I had. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thanks for watching.